What's up, marketers? I wanted to let you know that I have a live training coming up next week with Motion for our 4-part live series, Make Ads That Convert. Now, I know what you're thinking. What if I didn't attend the first 3 sessions, which were amazing? Don't worry, you can watch the replay. In fact, last week's was extra special. It was all about creative analytics and data, which is the whole reason why I partnered with Motion in the first place, because they make analyzing your creative data way easier. Their automated tools and reports are truly key to everything that I do in my work. So if you want to hang out in a live training session with me, we have one more left on July 11th. Be sure to sign up in the description bar below and I'll see you there. What's up, marketers? Meta just launched a new set of best practices that they're calling the Performance 5. This is essentially their guidelines on how you can get the best performance out of your Facebook ads in 2023. They announced this new set of rules just last month in June 2023. So this is the most up-to-date information we have. And if you think it sounds familiar, it does. I just launched this video on the old Performance 5 just 8 months ago. So it seems that a lot has changed in a short amount of time. So let's go ahead and dive in. So what is the Performance 5? So this is Meta's set of best practices. It just pretty much details how Meta wants you to run your ads. And in theory, this is supposed to be the best way to run Facebook ads and get performance from those ads. A few years ago, they also had a set of best practices called the Power 5. So if you're familiar with that term, it's pretty much the same thing. This is pretty much their bundle package on how they think we should be running their ads. And if you sense a bit of skepticism in my voice, that's just how it is. But to be honest, generally, when you do things the way that Meta says you should do things, I'd say it works about 65 to 70% of the time. And then after they work out the kinks, then it's gonna be working a lot better and a lot more. So, you know, do the thing. But before we dive into the new set of best practices for the Performance 5, let's really quickly review the old Performance 5. So number 1 was account simplification. So essentially Facebook was saying, hey, don't have a ton of campaigns and ad sets. Let's reduce those and you'll get better performance. And generally this is pretty widely accepted. The second thing that they had was using creators for direct response. So they said, hey, if you invest in content that features creators, UGC creators, influencers, that's actually going to increase your performance overall on the platform. This is probably why UGC was such a trend for a while. And the third one is to like and subscribe to this channel. I can't even do it with a straight face. But you know, I would appreciate that. Thank you. The third one was creative diversification. So in addition to using creators for content, they also said, hey, be sure that you get a steady stream of different image graphics, carousels, maybe some high-end studio content. The more creative diversity there was in an account, the more likely it was gonna perform. And then fourth, they said, hey, set up conversions API, fine. And number 5, business results validation, which is essentially, you know, toggle a button here, make sure you register your business domain here, and yada yada. Now the new Performance 5, I'm gonna list them all really quick and then we're gonna go bullet by bullet. Number 1, account simplification, sounds familiar. Number 2, automation. Number 3, creative differentiation. I wonder if that's the same or similar to creative diversification. We'll see. Number 4, data quality. And number 5, results validation. I feel like they're just swapping out things that are similar, same, but different, not quite. So, okay, so looking at number 1, and I am gonna have in the description bar where you can look at these yourself and draw your own conclusions. Simplify your account structure and put ad creative in one central campaign. Now, this is the first time I've actually seen them say publicly, put everything in one campaign. I don't know if I'm bought on the whole one campaign model, but I think they're saying that so that they seem serious about people not having like 5-10 campaigns. And you know, I've actually been testing out a lot myself, seeing accounts that had, you know, prospecting, retargeting, prospecting, scaling. And you know, this is something that I generally agree with. The less campaigns and less ad sets that you have, the better your performance is going to be overall. Now, I used to say on this channel, hey, you should have a retargeting campaign, you should have a prospecting campaign, you should prospecting testing campaign. I've even been testing out some one campaign models with my ad accounts that are spending 10K to 20K per day. So, you know, things are starting to change and get interesting. Number 2, use automation tools to optimize campaigns. So essentially what they're saying here is, hey, lean into more of our automated tools like Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, Advantage budget optimization, which is like the new CDO. And I will say that for the brands where we are starting to consolidate a lot, in general, we also have an Advantage Plus shopping campaign. I'd say that on about 65% 100% of our accounts, we are absolutely using Advantage Plus shopping, especially for our e-commerce D2C product-based brands. Number 3, differentiate your creative by audience. Now, this is a really interesting one because there's this common notion that, hey, you should create the creative that's going to be the most scalable for the broadest audience. So this idea of, oh, creating creative for teachers or creating creative for like small subsets of your audience was actually a pretty big waste of time. And that was something I generally believed as well. Like, try to make the creative that is the most scalable and can appeal to the most amount of people. But what they're saying here is, hey, if you want to tap into new markets, then you're going to have to create new creative for those markets. Like, if you're a product that's generally marketing towards millennials and you want to go after that younger Gen Z audience, you're probably going to have to develop creative that is more targeted to that Gen Z audience. And that is something that I've seen and I have started experimenting with. And something I've been talking a lot about, especially with the brands that are spending 20, 30, 40K per day, is the bigger strategic levers that they need to pull in order to maintain that spend at a profitable level, which is not as easy as, hey, cycle through a whole bunch of UGC creators. It's a little bit more strategic and targeted and being like, hey, let's make a plan to open up a new market like Gen Z or millennials or even 50 plus, and really thinking more about how we're going to be reaching those people apart from our core audience that we're starting to tap out in at the level that they're currently at. Number 4, use Conversions API. Yeah, I think it's just pretty understood. You should be using Conversions API for your campaigns. And number 5, data validation. So what they're saying here is, hey, use our tools like conversion lift studies, A/B testing, and marketing mix modeling to really understand the impact that your Facebook ads are having on your overall business. And I do recommend that brands take a look at conversion lift studies and running those on their ad campaigns so that they can understand how their ads are really affecting their overall business and how that's comparing to their other channels. I don't, however, never have recommended that you use the A/B testing tool in Facebook ads, because to be honest, they're going to be pushing a lot more spend through those ad creatives, and you don't really need to use that tool to get an understanding of which creatives are going to do best. I think that's a really good way to end up blowing a lot of money, so I wouldn't take that recommendation at this time. And that's it. I don't think it's that much different than the one before. I will say I do think that the suggestion for creative differentiation is kind of interesting now, though, and how they're starting to suggest thinking a lot more strategic about the different demographics of your customers and creating new tailored creative for them. I think that's something that a lot of Facebook advertisers were already doing on the back end, but it is interesting to see this type of recommendation coming from Meta, because I actually think it's going to be helpful to a lot more brands thinking about that. And that's all. If you guys are here, then I have a secret message for you. I am launching a performance creative course at the end of the month, July 26th. I have a sign up for the waiting list in the description bar below if you're interested. This is something that you guys have been asking for a long time, and honestly, I was a little shy to do it. But I'm really excited, and it's honestly gonna be awesome. And honestly, I just can't wait for you guys to take it. So if you're interested and you wanna learn more about the behind the scenes, I'm sending out my outline. I'm sending out updates weekly until the launch. Be sure to sign up there, and I will see you there. I'll see you at the motion training, and I'll see you next week. Bye.